I just want to talk to you today about being mindful and present when we eat. This is pretty important because we spend a lot of our time preparing our food, getting it ready, and right now we're choosing to really put healthy, good foods in our body. So we should be present and mindful of what we're eating and take our time and really enjoy it. And all of this came from a podcast I just recently listened to. It's called Icon Athlete, and they had their nutritionist on, and she was talking about a book that she'd read by Dr. Brian Wan Singh, and it's called Mindless Eating. She gave us a lot of really good tips, and I wanted to share them with you because I think it's really important when we're on this journey to really think about what we're eating and putting into our bodies and really pay attention. So one of the things is you eat basically 50% more when we're in social gatherings or at parties. So I think that's a really good thing to keep in mind when we're out with our friends, that you do eat a lot more because you're socializing, you're having a great time, you're not really paying attention. All of a sudden you've had 3 extra drinks and a whole bunch of appetizers or something like that. So it definitely goes fast and you don't even realize what you've had. So you could even get close to like 1,000 calories just going out and hanging out with your friends and having a meal. Another thing is put 20% more or less on our plate. What that means is basically 20% more vegetables than you would think to put on your plate. So load up the veggies, and then 20% less of everything else. So for your protein or even for your carbs, go ahead 20% less. Another great tip is to actually use a smaller plate. At my house, we have dinner plates and salad plates. I actually always choose the salad plate, and it's smaller. It still looks like I'm getting a ton of food because I'll fill it all the way up, but it's going to be a lot smaller than my regular dinner plate. It's another way to kind of trick your mind into thinking that you're eating more. Also, I don't know if you guys grew up this way, but I sure did. And that was, my grandpa always told me, eat everything on my plate. So I always did. So keep that in mind too, that we don't have to eat everything on our plate. And I know that I do this with my own kids even. I look at their plates, I'm like, hey guys, you didn't eat all your food. Make sure you eat it all. And as grown-ups, we really need to make sure that if we're full, we stop eating. That's time. There's a sign. Our body is saying we're all done, so stop eating. And on this same subject of knowing when is when, another thing is after you've eaten all your food, make sure to sit there for a couple minutes and let it digest before you hop up and get seconds. And make sure that the platter of food is actually further away from you. So if it's not right by you, you're less likely to jump up and get seconds. If you have to sit there, drink some water because maybe you're just dehydrated, then you may eat less that way as well. So keep that in mind. Keep the food further away from you, and also give it a little bit of time to digest before you actually jump up and get more food. So another thing is when we're cleaning up the kitchen and we're putting our kids' plates in the sink and they've got something yummy left on it, do not eat it. Be mindful. Think about it. So as you're cleaning, think about, oh, I really want that, but do I really? So that's one of the things when I'm saying be mindful. A lot of times we just put it in our mouth without even thinking about it. So when you're cleaning up, make sure you're thinking about not putting those leftovers in your mouth. Okay, so that takes me to do not eat out of a bag or box. So a lot of times we have places that we're triggered. So say you go and sit down and watch a movie with your family and you guys make a bag of popcorn. Make sure that you don't take that whole bag to the couch with you. The couch is sometimes a trigger, a place where you sometimes eat more. And if you put it in bowls for everybody and just eat your bowl, that's a great thing to do. So and sitting in front of the TV is a huge trigger for people to not really be mindful in how much food, or if they're full, or if they're done eating. So it's another great place to really think about what you're putting in your body. We also continue to eat more when it's in the bag or box, and by the time we realize it, that whole bag or box is already gone. So think about those things as well. And our trigger spot. So for me personally, my trigger spot is my car, and I eat a lot in here. I eat breakfast in here most of the time, lunch, my snacks. I actually just finished my snack, and I pre-portioned it. So I had a rice cake and almonds in a bag. So just like I'm talking about, I do not keep a whole bag of almonds in my car. If I were to do that, I would just snack kind of throughout the day, and that's not what I want to do. If I pre-portion, I know exactly how much I'm going to get. So that's another really good tip. So that's knowing your danger zone, what triggers you places. Maybe sitting in front of the computer is something that triggers you. Also, make sure that you are the slowest eater, and if you're not a slow eater and that doesn't work for you, then be the last person to start eating. So in our household, I always load up everybody's plates, and then I sit down and eat my own. So I'm the last one to start eating, but usually my kids are like, hey mom, can you eat this? So I do try to eat fast though, because I'm trying to, they want ice cream now, or they want this or that. So I do try to eat fast. So I'm trying to make sure for myself that I slow my eating down. Say, hey, mom hasn't finished eating now. You guys can wait a little while, let your food digest as well. So I try to use that little trick with them too. So like I said, slow down. And if you aren't a slow eater, make sure that you don't start eating until everybody else has kind of started. Maybe drink a little water, just kind of talk a little, and then start eating if you're in a social situation. So that way, if everybody else is not done eating and you're already done, you don't feel like you need more food. So guys, those are pretty much my tips. Leave some food on the plate, slow down, enjoy, be mindful and present in what you're putting into your body. So I hope these tips help. Let me know if you need anything else. Bye.